Paolo Banchero is going to be better than Carmelo Anthony, and he's going to outshine Zion Williamson. Now, that may sound crazy. Carmelo is a Hall of Famer and one of the most gifted scorers of his era. Zion was one of the most hyped draft prospects in NBA history, a physical marvel people thought would redefine the league. But Paolo? He's writing his own hero arc. Today, we're going to walk through the story of Paolo Banchero, like a hero's journey. His humble beginnings, his rise through trials and doubters, his explosive emergence with the Orlando Magic, and why he might be the cornerstone who carries this franchise into true championship contention. Every great hero starts with promise, and Paolo Banchero's origin is no different. Born in Seattle, Washington in 2002, he was practically destined to be an athlete. His mom, Rhonda Smith Banchero, was a basketball star at the University of Washington and played professionally. His father played football. Genetics gave Paolo the tools, but destiny demanded more. By middle school, Paolo was already a giant. He stood out not just for his size, but for his fluidity. Most kids his height stumbled through growth spurts. Paolo moved with grace. Seattle, with its rich basketball culture, became his proving ground. He sharpened his skills in gyms that had molded legends before him. In high school, Banchero wasn't just another tall kid, he was dominant. A consensus 5-star recruit, he had his pick of college programs. But instead of getting swept up by hype, Paolo chose Duke University. Why? Because Duke was the crucible. That's where the elite go to be tested. At Duke, Paolo Banchero had to prove more than just athleticism. He had to show he was a complete basketball player. From day one, he displayed a versatile offensive arsenal, a smooth mid-range jumper, a willingness to put the ball on the floor, and the strength to bully defenders at the rim. He wasn't just a forward, he was a point forward, capable of initiating offense, making plays, and bending defenses to his will. Still, doubts lingered. Some analysts compared him to Carmelo Anthony, a scorer with incredible talent but questioned his defensive effort. Others said his style might be too old school for the modern NBA. And when the 2022 NBA draft approached, Paolo wasn't even the consensus number one pick. Jabari Smith Jr. and Chet Holmgren got more headlines. But then came the plot twist. The Orlando Magic shocked the world, selecting Paolo with the first overall pick. That's when his real hero's journey began. The Orlando Magic had been searching for a savior since the Dwight Howard days. They cycled through lottery picks, rebuilds, and retools, but nothing stuck. Paolo arrived not just as another top prospect, but as the chosen one. And from his very first game, he proved he belonged. In his NBA debut, Banchero dropped 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists against the Detroit Pistons. That wasn't just a solid outing, it was a message. The Magic finally had a star who could step into the spotlight without flinching. Throughout his rookie season, Paolo continued to shoulder responsibility. Defenses keyed in on him, yet he averaged 20 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists per game. He became the first rookie since LeBron James to put up numbers like that. LeBron, think about that. By the end of the season, Banchero had not only secured Rookie of the Year honors, but had given Orlando something it hadn't had in a decade: hope. Stars don't rise without some resistance, and for Paolo, the sophomore season brought new challenges. Teams began to scheme specifically against him. Defenders tested his jumper, dared him to create in the clutch, and tried to force him into turnovers. But instead of backing down, Paolo grew. His playmaking sharpened, his confidence soared, and when the 2023-24 season closed, it was clear. This wasn't just a talented kid putting up empty numbers. Paolo was a winning player. In the 2024 NBA playoffs, Orlando finally made its long-awaited return to the postseason, facing the battle-tested Cleveland Cavaliers. Banchero showed the world he wasn't afraid of the bright lights. His averages, 27 points per game on nearly 50% shooting, made him the youngest player since LeBron to carry that type of load in the playoffs. The Magic didn't advance, but something more important happened. Banchero's legend began, and his arrow continues to point straight up. Here's why he's on track to surpass Hall of Famers like Carmelo Anthony and a star like Zion Williamson. Anthony was an elite scorer, but his legacy is complicated by defense and playmaking limitations. Paolo, he's built differently. He's not just a bucket getter. He can initiate the offense, create for others, and play multiple positions. That versatility makes him a modern superstar prototype. Zion Williamson entered the league with more hype than almost anyone in NBA history, but injuries derailed his story. Paolo, on the other hand, had already shown the durability to withstand an NBA grind. Availability is the best ability, and Paolo has it. Even at 21, Paolo carries himself like the face of a franchise. He doesn't shy away from the ball in crunch time. He doesn't defer when his team needs him. Orlando hasn't had that since Dwight Howard, and arguably not even then, given Howard's personality. Paolo is no lockdown defender yet, but his size and agility mean that he can guard multiple positions. With growth, he can anchor both ends of the floor. That's something Carmelo Anthony never fully embraced. So where does the story go? How far can Paolo Banchero take the Orlando Magic? The Eastern Conference is no longer ruled by dynasties. The Celtics, Bucks, and Heat are strong, but none are untouchable. The Cavaliers and Knicks are tough, but Orlando is rising fast. With Franz Wagner as his co-star, Jalen Suggs as a defensive bulldog, and a deep roster of versatile pieces, the Magic are quietly building a contender. In the next 3 to 5 years, Orlando could absolutely reach the Eastern Conference Finals. And if Banchero makes the superstar leap, averaging say 28 to 30 points per game while leading the team to 55 wins, why couldn't they push for a finals berth? Remember, this is the NBA. Superstars bend reality. When LeBron James took Cleveland to the finals in 2007, no one thought it was possible. When Giannis brought Milwaukee a championship in 2021, he erased decades of irrelevance. Paolo Banchero has the same potential for Orlando. Let's project forward. 10 years from now, what does Paolo Banchero's career look like? Multiple All-NBA selections, scoring titles, and consistent All-Star appearances, the player who brought Orlando back to national relevance, the one kids wear jerseys of worldwide, at least one championship run, maybe more. Championships aren't guaranteed, but if Orlando builds right, Banchero could deliver. Like Carmelo before him, Banchero will inspire a generation with his style, but unlike Carmelo, he'll pair that with deeper playoff runs and perhaps even a championship. If Zion Williamson was supposed to be the league's next great spectacle, Paolo Banchero is showing he can be the league's next great constant, a cornerstone, a franchise face, a player who blends skill, size, and leadership into something the NBA hasn't quite seen in this package before. For Banchero, it's all about becoming the next Shaq or Dwight for the Magic, and then exceeding that. The elixir Paolo carries is hope. Hope that Orlando's years of irrelevance are over, and that their future burns as brightly as the young man wearing number 5. So yes, it's bold to put Paolo Banchero in the Hall of Fame. But every hero's story begins with doubt. Every legend starts with a skeptic's smirk. And then, slowly, surely, he proves everyone wrong. This is Paolo Banchero's story. We're just living through the first chapters. And if you're paying attention, you can already see it. The NBA's next true superstar is here.